Coming up next, I'll tell you how the coronavirus will change our lives in the future. And I'll tell you the infectious demeanor you should be spreading. We'll take your calls and your chats. It all starts right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do that, and how you can get there. So excited to have you with us. 844-747-2577. If you're new to the show, that's right, it's a caller-driven show here on YouTube. So we would love to hear from you. And you can call right now. Madison, the associate producer, is standing by. 844-747-2577. Can't do this anywhere else. You're scared. You're confused. You're overcome with doubt. You wanted to quit your job prior to this. You got kicked out of the nest. What do? Well, we'll walk you through the 7 stages to living the dream. What stage are you in? We'll walk you through those, and we'll help you. I promise. I am a sounding board. I am here for you. 844-747-2577. Another way to communicate is via the chat room. And I'm looking at it right here. Send those chat questions in right now, and then the team will put them on my computer. We'll get to 2 or 3. We try to every day. So would love to take your chat questions. But first, how will the coronavirus change our lives in the future? I think there's 6 ways, and I've grouped them together. I was thinking about this over the weekend. And so here we go. I think passion and peace will increase. I think passion and peace will increase. What do I mean by that? I think we had a real wave of people, 70 to 80% here in America and internationally, of people were unhappy in their work, either because they weren't passionate about the work itself or they were in a toxic environment. Those are your 2 major factors. For some who got kicked out of the nest, it's a chance to reset, a chance to assess. I think you'll see more and more people want to do work that they love, that means something to them. That's what I mean by passion. Peace. Here at Ramsey Solutions, we promote financial peace through Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps to live like no one else, sort of like later you can live and give like no one else. There are millions of people in this country right now who aren't losing any sleep because they've got 3 to 6 months of expenses in the bank. They have 0 debt. They lived like no one else. So then in a time of crisis like this, they've got peace. I think you're going to see more and more people saying debt's not the way to go. I've got to have an emergency fund. And the best way to do that is to do something I really, really love that keeps me fired up on Mondays. And when it's quitting time on Fridays, they're not trying to make it to happy hour to soothe the pain from a week of miserable, meaningless work. They're ready to rest and recreate themselves over the weekend. I think you're going to see passion and peace increase. I also think you're going to see learning and working change. I've been talking about this. I think the distance learning, online learning, distance working, online working, the Zoom meetings, the working from home, the telecommuting, it's all connected. There's just too many scalable good things coming out of learning online and working from home, distance working. I'm not saying it's the option, but I'm telling you that option will increase for so many people. It's going to drive the cost of working down. It's going to drive the cost of education down. You, the consumer, will enthusiastically endorse that. So learning and working will change. And finally, fear and freedom will increase. I think there's 2 types of people right now. Those who are overcome with fear, don't want to get out. They're listening to all of the coulds and mays headlines coming from scientists and doctors who, by the way, are wrong on an everyday basis. Doesn't mean they're always wrong, but they are fallible. So I think you're going to see a lot of people who are more afraid now than they ever were before. What's the next coronavirus? Will the flu kill me? I'm just telling you, I'm not criticizing. I'm predicting greater fear. but I'm also predicting greater freedom. We have seen infringements on the American people's freedom and citizens around the world, government lockdowns, infringing on freedom. And again, not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is, just as people's fear will increase as a result of this, people's longing and vigilance on personal freedom will increase. So those are 6 things that I think will change. And we're all going to have to change on some level. The question is, what change will you choose? 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Before we get to the phones, I want to tell you about something that has developed on the show that we really, really love. If you have made it into your dream job, or you are on the path to your dream job and you see a date in the future, when you step into that job, if you've been a part of this program in the community, the tribe, we want to celebrate you, and we do that through our Dream Scream. And it's just a phone call where you call in and say, here's where I was, Ken. This is what I began to do. This is what happened for me. This was the journey. This was the timeline. And now I'm in the dream job. And it feels really, really good. People get encouraged by those journeys. And then at the end, you'll count down from 3, 2 to 1, and you'll scream, I'm living the dream. And we have a big, big fun with that. So if that is you, or if you know it's going to be you, remember, ask@kencoleman.com. Just email Madison and just put Dream Scream in the subject line, and she'll get that scheduled for you. That is what encourages so many people. I absolutely love our Dream Scream. So big part of the show. And again, you're the reason we do the show. So we want as many people as possible to be encouraged by your journey. 844-747-2577 is the number. We go to Cincinnati, Ohio to start it off today. Travis joins us there. Travis, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how are you?
Travis, I'm living the dream. What's happening?
Well, I have a question. I wanted to present to my boss a question about moving towards my dream position in this company as a project manager. When I was hired on, we agreed that I would work in the field in the 3 phases of our company: sheet metal, plumbing, and service. I felt that was pretty important to learn what goes on at the field, so that my job as a project manager I would understand how things work in the field. And so I've been doing this first phase sheet metal for about a year, and I know my review's coming up. With everything that's going on right now, part of me is afraid to kind of rock the boat, but at the same time, I'm ready to start moving forward. I spent, my 4 years getting my degree and working, and, I'm ready to move forward, but I'm not quite sure how to present that to my boss. And
what does moving forward look like?
Well, it would be working in each of the 3 phases. My next step would be working in the plumbing side for 6 to 12 months, okay, and then moving into service from there. I just wanted to get the ball rolling. I don't want to fall. I don't want to kind of slip through the cracks with all the other employees. I'm sure everybody's trying, but I want to be the guy. Yeah,
sure. I get it. It's a good question. Okay. So is this idea of you working in the field in each of these 3 areas, that was something that your leader agreed to, correct? Like the idea, also agreed with the timeline?
Correct.
And the timeline was about a year, and you're coming up on that year, right?
Right. The exact words were 6 to 18 months. So
okay, so
it kind of depends on how ready I am, which I believe I am.
Okay, great. And when is your review?
July.
Great. I think you wait till the review. And your question was, Ken, I don't want to rock the boat. And so what do I do? And so my answer is, don't rock the boat. So let's play with your analogy, because I love word pictures. So let's say that you and your buddies, or you and your kids are out in the lake, and you're out there swimming, and they all have their life jackets on, and you want to mess with everybody, right? No one's going to be hurt by this. No one's going to drown. Okay. But you're going to tip the boat over, or you're going to rock the boat and freak them out a little bit, right? That's kind of fun. Right. So what would you do? You'd swim up beside the boat, and you'd grab it violently, and you'd start shaking it pretty good, just to give them the fear that you might tip them over, right?
Right.
Okay, then. So That's not what you're going to do with your leader. You're not going to go in there and aggressively shake your leader up with all of these, well, if I don't get this and if we don't keep moving on this plan, I'm going to have to get out of here and just freak them out, right? That's not what you're going to do. In any way, shape, or form, do you think you'd get close to freaking your leader out with this conversation?
Right.
Okay, no, you didn't answer my question. Will you freak him out?
I think it would upset him if I went aggressively towards this. Yeah.
I know, but my point is you didn't have any plans to do that. So don't overthink this. I'm just having some fun to walk you through this and go, is there any situation where you were going to go in and just really freak the leader out and be aggressive? And I don't think the answer is yes. I don't think you were going to do that. Okay, then. So my point is when it's time for your review, that's the natural time to talk about it. So therefore, you're not rocking the boat by bringing it up then because that's the natural time to talk about it. And so you just remind the timeline and go, hey, have I met your standards? Have I gotten the right score? Have I won where I needed to win so that I can now move into plumbing next?
I got you.
It's very simple. So you don't have to rock the boat. So don't rock the boat. So don't overthink this. You're not being a jerk. You're not being disloyal. You're just bringing it up. Hey, how is the current condition? Can I move into the plumbing side now? And, what have I done right? What can I do better? I want to continue to add value to this company. I got to tell you, I'm proud of you. I'm super proud of you coming up with this plan. This is going to make you so valuable. I hope this leader, and I'm guessing the leader, gets how awesome this is. Because I don't know if the average employee comes to the leader and says, look, I know I want to be a project manager, but instead of taking that job right now or looking for that job right now, I want to get out in the field and spend a year to 18 months in each of the major offerings, actually on the ground, being a tradesman. That's going to make you such a great leader. I'm just so proud of you. I just want to send you away with just an attaboy, way to go. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Miami, Florida, where Kevin joins us. Kevin, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. What's going on?
Yes, so I'm currently in a human resource role. I kind of sit at a computer all day, and I kind of just got in here by promotion after promotion, but I want to get back into what I love, which is sports, and I've actually identified something that really sparks my interest, which is coaching a team, a track team, track and field. I did that all through college from middle school. And I do want to get back in that field. And there's a local college here, which doesn't have a track team currently. And I kind of just looked at two different things. One, the interim director at the college, and two, on the webpage, who the person is that would allow them to join the National Junior College Athletic Association. And I just don't know how to fill that gap, or if that's my place.
Okay. Well, are you qualified for it?
Yes. I ran track since middle school. I competed at Division I NCAA level. And
what's the position that you want? Because you mentioned several things. Be real direct. What's the position that you want to apply for and get right now?
I would want to be a track coach.
I know that, want to help. But I don't think they're hiring a coach right now. It sounded to me like you mentioned a position that I thought was like a director of the program. Am I wrong? What did I not understand?
Yes, so I would want to be a track coach. I just was doing some research on who I would contact, and that's when I found the director.
Okay, I got you. All right, okay. So your question is, how do I get in front of that person? That's really what you're asking me, correct?
I think so, yes, because I don't know if I get in front of them or if I get in front of the person who would basically accredit this college to be in the National Junior College Association.
Because they don't have a team right now. But you said I'm confused, and I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm trying really hard to focus on what you're telling me, but it's not really clear to me. So let me ask it this way. It feels like the director would be the person who would get the local college to say, yep, we're going to launch and create a track team, a program, correct?
I think so.
Well, then that's the person you need to get in front of. I don't understand who this other mythical position is that would have anything to do with accreditation. I'm not trying to be silly. I'm just saying it feels like to me that that's the first person you should start with, because they don't have a program yet. So you're not going in there going, hey, I'd like to be your coach of the team you have right now. What you're doing is, hey, are you guys interested in having a team? Are you the person that would lead the initiative? Have you brought this up to the administration before? What's their position? Because you've probably got an athletic director, you've got a college president, you've got some hierarchy of leadership that would have to approve this team. And so this is a different animal. You're not applying for the coach's position. You're kind of saying, is there an opportunity down the road for a team? And if so, I want to throw my name in the hat. All right, so then the way that you would get in front of that person is the same way you would get in front of any person for any potential job interview. You start looking at your web of connections. Do I know anybody that works at the college? Anybody. Could be a janitor. Okay. If I don't know anybody that works at the college, do I know anybody who does have some relationships on that campus? And by process of elimination, and the reason I call it a web of connections, because that's actually a sociology term, but it is you almost drawing a picture of yourself, a stick figure, and all the different names you have. And you go, okay, who can I get to? What's the web? What's the connection? I get over there. And just like a spider moves up and down the web and all the different little channels that connect the web, that's the process. I write about it in my book, The Proximity Principle. And so what you've got to do, Kevin, is you're trying to just get in front of that person for an opportunity. Now, obviously, Corona, getting in front of somebody that, who knows when that's going to be acceptable. But, I would wait until Corona passes to where you can do a face-to-face. I think this is such a different animal. This isn't applying for an open job. This is, where is this? Is this an opportunity? And so a face-to-face is your best chance here. Now, let me switch gears. In the meantime, I think you're saying, okay, that may be a long-term play. Feels like it is. And so go ahead and make the connection and try to get in there and see what happens. But in the meantime, I would be looking for an opportunity to be coaching middle school, high school, private school, public school, track teams. Get yourself back in the coaching game, even if you're volunteering or they pay you part-time hours. You have to get your credibility and current in coaching. I think that'll help you long term, but get after it, man. You got this. It's just going to take some time. You have to be unrelenting is the word in trying to connect and make opportunities happen for you. But you'll get the opportunity. Trust me. 844-747-2577, 844-747-2577. We're going to go to the chat room in just a moment, but I want to read a quick email. This came in last week from Joyce, and she's writing to Madison, who Madison talks with everybody before they get on the program. She said, Madison, I was a guest on the Ken Coleman Show last July, searching for a way to transition out of teaching to pursue a new path for my life. Ken helped me think about what I want to do with my love of fitness, personal finance, and teaching others. This set me on a journey I couldn't even imagine. I'm pleased to share, after reading his book, The Proximity Principle, and being on the show with him, I've published 3 books that I address all the things we discussed, fitness and finances, while spreading the message of self-love to kids. I'm not sure if you have an update show or if Mr. Coleman would be interested in doing a follow-up, but I've been blessed with my new ventures in being an author, along with keeping teaching as my career. So I love this. She stayed in the day job. She didn't just jump. Whee! Because that's where that ends. It starts off with the whee and ends with the crash when we jump without something to jump to. During this COVID pandemic, I'm really thrilled because I'm employed and working from home. I've had the honor of appearing on a local news station, getting my book featured in a local public library, appearing on podcasts, social media shows, etc. This is really great. And I wanted to share that with you folks because that's a phone call, happened back in July. And you know what Joyce did? She just started creating content. And she loves the content. And by creating the content, I'm sure she had some fear and some doubt, but she stepped over that. And she's making things happen. You can do that too. I love it. All right, let's go to the chat room. Daniel, wait a second. Which one are we going to here? Okay, Daniel says, hey, Ken, Daniel, I was wondering, have a job interview coming up at Sam's Club. I was wondering how I should prepare for it. Okay, you need to prepare for it by going to kencoleman.com right now and downloading How to Win the Interview. This is a PDF. It's robust, and it's not some little one-pager. It's super, super easy to read, though. And I walk you through how to prepare and then how to perform in the interview. Preparation is so key. Relentless preparation leads to reflexive performance. If you folks, including you, Daniel, prepare for your interviews the way that I walk you through in the How to Win the Interview guide, which is free at kencoleman.com. It's one of our 3 Get Hired guides that are free. Go get it right now, all of you. If you prepare, your brain is like a supercomputer and it will perform for you. It just will. So go check it out. Tyler writes in, should I pursue a job that pays more to pay off debt quicker, but it may not be my sweet spot as a stepping stone to get to my sweet spot? Now, see, I love this question and I love the intentionality here. This is a 50-50. I'm okay if you pursue a job that pays you more so that you get out of debt faster, because that actually will allow you to go all in faster on the sweet spot job. However, you don't have to do that. You know, there's a case to be made for both, to stay in a role that is getting you the experience you need. So it comes down to, if you pay the debt off faster, will that put you down your path to purpose faster and farther? Or would staying in the role, if I'm understanding this right, that is in your sweet spot and continues to prepare you for the future, so will that experience and staying there in the same amount of time that you would get out of your sweet spot to pay off the debt faster, which is better for you? If it's 50-50, I'd probably stay. If it's, I'm going to move faster in my career if I've got my debt paid off, then I'm going to take the temporary job, pay off the debt, and jump back into the field. But I think this is a win-win here. So either way you go, I think is a good move. Rachel D., what advice or practical steps can you give to someone whose content, let me just read this here. So sorry, folks. What advice or practical steps can you give to someone who's content, there we go, and passionate about the career they're in now and knows another kind of career they want to have in 10 to 20 years? Start preparing for the career you want in 10 to 20 years. Pretty simple. You're content. You love what you're in now. You've got this, okay, in a decade, I'd like to go here. So what can you be doing now in the downtime that you have to start preparing for that, so that it is an easier step? So again, it gets down to, I think, 3 things. What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? And how much is it going to cost? And so you've got a 10-year window. Learning is the education, if you need some, and that's not necessarily college education, just some type of training. Think of that word. And then experience. And then what is the cost of the training and the experience? If you can get those answers now, then you go, okay, I've got 10 years. I've got a really nice runway there. And so get clear on what it is that you're going to need to do and learn and spend to get qualified. And then you're ready. So love that. 844-747-2577. By the way, I was just talking about the How to Win the Interview, which is one of our 3 free Get Hired guides at kencoleman.com. We also have a great quiz, I think, for some of you who are furloughed in a job you can't stand. Why don't you take the Should I Quit My Job quiz, another free resource at kencoleman.com. It's about 20 questions. It's actually 20 questions. It takes you less than 3 minutes. It's going to spit out one of 4 categories that you are in. And now's the time to do this. It's really, really enlightening. We've had tens of thousands of people take this quiz. Should I quit my job quiz? Now's the time. Again, if you're furloughed or laid off from something that you did not like, take it based on where you were. And this is the nudge that so many people have needed. That's the overwhelming response we've had from people on social media and email. So go to kencoleman.com and take the Should I Quit My Job quiz. All right. What's the infectious demeanor that you should be spreading right now? So we've just been completely gripped as a world by this infectious disease known as COVID-19, the coronavirus. And it's dominated our entire world, our psyche. Oh, I don't want to spread it. I don't want to spread it. I don't want to get it. I don't want to get it. And I was thinking about this weekend. When you strip away normalcy and you strip away routine, it really can reset in a good way some behaviors that are helpful, not just in times of crisis and uncertainty, but in normalcy. And so Joe, Madison, Nathan, at the risk of being a little glib and a little too close to home, I was thinking, what would be something, or what are multiple things that we as the human race should be spreading? All right, we don't want to spread a disease, but what should we be spreading? And so I started thinking about disease and demeanor. Because see, we can control our attitude, we can control our response. We can't control so many other things. Well, we can control our attitude and we can control our response. So I thought of one of my favorite words of all time. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. This is the infectious demeanor that you should spread. This is the infectious demeanor that you can spread. So I love words. And I looked it up. What is the definition of enthusiasm? So I was looking at all the different definitions. And so this is what I wrote down I want to share with you. Enthusiasm. I think all of you could easily use it in a sentence, and you know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about spreading enthusiasm. But there were 3 words in one definition that stuck out to me, and I want to share them with you because this is how you can spread the infectious demeanor of enthusiasm. Intense, that's the key word, intense. Intense enjoyment, interest, approval. That's the definition that I was drawn to this morning. Enthusiasm, intense enjoyment, interest, and approval. Let's break those 3 things down and how you can spread intense enjoyment, intense interest, and intense approval. Oh, I'm getting enthusiastic just thinking about it. Are you, Joe? Are you getting enthusiastic back there?
I always do.
Okay, good. Sometimes I have to make sure that they are in the control room or awake. They're not playing words with friends, especially when I'm talking about enthusiasm. All right, let's break the first one down. Enthusiastic enjoyment. Here's what that means. Be intentional that when you're around others and you are participating in something together, could be food, could be a board game, could be a video game, I don't care. But have some intense enjoyment. It just makes people feel better. All right, let's do this. They don't know that I'm going to do this. Joe, Madison, Nathan, quick poll. Favorite guilty pleasure food right now, if I brought a platter or a bowl of this, you would be excited. Go, Madison.
Cookies.
Cookies. Joe.
Chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate ice cream. Nathan.
Gummy worms.
Gummy worms. All right, great.
Weird choice.
It is a weird choice, but I don't want to get off track. So if I were to put a plate, a bowl of each of those things in front of the 3 of you, You could partake of those things and you could enjoy them. But to intensely enjoy it, I think it would be like a 7-year-old. I could see, Joe, you really diving into that chocolate ice cream and some of it ending up on the side of your mouth. If I said to you, Joe, right now, I want you to intensely enjoy the chocolate ice cream, I would submit to you a couple things would happen. The pace of which you shoved it in your mouth would increase. It would be a little sloppy. Probably have some noises coming out of your mouth like, oh, that's so good, right?
And a brain freeze.
Thank you, Joe. Intense enjoyment. Here's what's happening. I could watch you eat a bowl of ice cream without intense enjoyment, and I wouldn't get anything out of it. But watching you destroy a bowl of ice cream with intense enjoyment would make me feel good. I would enjoy watching Joe enjoy his bowl of ice cream. You see my point. I'm being silly, but I'm making a point. Let's go to the second one. Intense interest. If I'm walking through the hallway and I see a good friend here at the office and I stop and I say, hey, tell me about your weekend. And they tell me, and of course I'm not going to yell at them like that, but you get my point. Hey, I'm excited. I'm intensely interested in you. My eyes are wide open. I'm not leaving you. My gaze isn't leaving you. I'm right there locked in. I'm intensely interested in your weekend. It's going to make a person feel fantastic. Let's look at the third one. Intense approval. You have a coworker or somebody that works on your team that reports to you and they do something. It's one thing to go, nice job. That's solid. By the way, I hate that word, solid. Solid. No, that's not enthusiastic. Let me tell you what you need to do. Fantastic job. Spectacular work. Way to go. You put in a ton of effort. I see it. That's above and beyond, and the result's fantastic as well. That's enthusiasm. Parents, when your kid comes in and shows you a drawing, it's one thing to go, way to go, bud. It's another thing to go, that's awesome. Way to go. You put a lot of effort into that, kiddo. That made me happy. Thank you for drawing that. Thank you for showing me that. That's enthusiasm. So what is infectious about enthusiasm? In those three cases, I'm intensely enjoying something, I'm intensely interested in somebody or something, or I am intensely approving of something or somebody. What is the effect? It's infectious because people notice it. They see your passionate interest in a topic or a subject. They see and feel your enthusiastic interest in them. They see, they feel, they're inspired by your enthusiastic enjoyment. Folks, enthusiasm is infectious. You knew that before I even said it. And that's something that we can all spread. It's not a disease, it's a demeanor. Approach each day looking for opportunities to intensely enjoy something or somebody, to intensely be interested in something or somebody, to intensely approve of somebody. People are going to want to be around you. That's a good thing. But you know what's best? Your enthusiasm is going to be transferred to them. You've infected them with enthusiasm. You know what they're going to do? They're going to walk away from you and infect somebody else. It's a beautiful thing. You can do it every day. In the midst of normalcy or in the midst of uncertainty or in the midst of crisis, you can be enthusiastic. I promise it works. So here's the challenge. You're watching this live right now or you're watching this on demand. I want you to think about how you can do this in your personal life with your friends and family. I want you to think about how you can do this in your professional life with your coworkers, your leader, or the team that follows you. Look for opportunities today and tomorrow to infect somebody with enthusiasm. Do it on purpose. Say, you know what? This is how I normally respond. I'm going to step it up a little bit. and see if I can infect somebody with enthusiasm. My time is almost up, but I want you to know that you matter. You have what it takes. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.